Stu Hopps is a lie and dystopia proves it. What is good, YouTube? It's your girl Rocky, the Rocky Way, and I'm back again with another video. Today we're actually reacting to Pogi once again. Pogi, Poggy. Shout out to him. I really like his videos. He does very good explanations. That's why I did decide to choose another video to watch. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop out at yapping. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel, show some love, and we're gonna get straight into this reaction. Shout out to him for real. Let's get it.
There's something that's been bothering me about Zootopia 2, and it's the flower
I
that
did
isn't
watch
in it.
this.
Nobody in Zootopia 2.
So he does have another video that just came out. It was about the Toy Story 5. But the thing is, I don't remember watching that whole film, so I didn't want to do any spoilers. So I decided to just react to a one that I have already watched, so that we can get a deeper understanding of what he's talking about.
2 says the words Night Howler, not Bellwether, Judy, not her parents. Doug isn't even mentioned. Duke Weaselton shows up, but only to sell bootleg DVDs. And the recap of the film's first conspiracy in the cold open of the sequel describes Bellwether's crimes as, and I quote, a conspiracy by Mayor Bellwether using a toy carrot recorder pen. That's it, a pen. Which, fine, sequels move on, except the family the first movie spent 40 minutes selling as the wholesome emotional center of the franchise is a family that openly farms the exact plant the conspiracy used to nearly burn Zootopia to the ground. They were growing it while the city panicked. They were growing it around their own 275 children. And the father of that family, Stu Hopps, tells you on camera, in broad daylight, in front of his own cop daughter, that he knows what the flower does to rabbits. He tells you why he knows. He tells you who it happened to. 10 years.
Way. But why are you growing it? Is it for the, was it why was it there? Why were they growing that if it's something that kills rabbits, like, or bunnies or anything in between? Like,
Of fan theories, and not one of them has looked at Stu Hopps and said out loud what the scene actually shows. So I'm going to. And before anyone says it, no, this isn't going to be a Stu is the cartel video. The Hopps don't sell to Doug. The truth is quieter than that, and it's worse. Stu Hopps is the original Night Howler incident, and the franchise has spent 2 movies pointing the camera away from him.
If you're so profitable, why do you sell a course? Well, you know what? Here you go.
Make
I
sure
don't
you
care.
guys go to Mass Temptations, that store. Go check out my business. If you guys could help me out, that'd be great. And yeah, let's get back into it. A family business.
Let's go
Part
back to the
1,
Hopps
where
farm, the
everyone
third
lies.
act of Zootopia in 2016. Judy has quit the force. She's selling carrots at a roadside stand with her parents, and a van rolls up. The van says Gideon Gray's real good baked stuff with fresh produce from Hopps family farm. Out steps Gideon Gray, the bully fox who clawed Judy's face when they were kids. Except he's grown up, he's baking pies, and the Hopps are in business with him. Judy is stunned. She asks if that's really Gideon Gray, and Bonnie says this.
He's our partner, and we never would have considered it had you not opened our minds.
Remember that line, we never would have
Had you
considered
not-
it. Plural.
right.
Joint family decision, both parents signed off, and that's going to matter later. Stu adds that Gideon is one of the top pastry chefs in the Tri-Boroughs. Gideon apologizes for being a bully as a kid, blames it on self-doubt, says he's a jerk, and Disney sets it up for tears. And then, mid-heartwarming moment, Stu sees 3 bunny kids running toward a line of purple flowers, and he yells.
Hey kids, don't you run through that Mindicampum Holycythius!
Did you catch that? He uses the Latin name, the full scientific binomial, to his own toddlers, like he said it 1,000 times. Gideon, standing right there holding a tray of pies, looks at Stu and says this.
Well, now there's a $4 word, Mr. H. My family always just called them night howlers.
Judy freezes. Her face changes. She knows that name. She's been hearing it for weeks from Manchus, from the case files, from every savage predator in Zootopia, and her father is standing next to a row of them growing in his yard. Stu sees her reaction and just waves it off. In one sentence, on camera, Stu admits 3 things. 1, he grows them. I use them. 2,
That's
he grows them
crazy,
on
though.
purpose.
That's actually, yeah, he has them on purpose. But okay, so he's reminding his little ones, or the little ones, not to run through it because it's dangerous for them, right? But why would you even have that in your Well, let's just keep listening.
to keep
Let's
the
keep
bugs
listening.
off the produce. That's agricultural.
Okay. Okay, so some people do this. So like they would plant, I forgot what specific plant you can use, but there are certain plants that you can grow that'll keep you know, flies and all this anything that can like cause bacteria or anything that to affect your produce or whatever you're like whatever you're growing. But okay, let's keep listening.
Intent. And finally, 3, he knows the flower is dangerous to mammals. He doesn't
Okay.
want his kids near it on account of what happened to Uncle Terry. And then because Stu is unable to stop, he and Bonnie rehearse the Uncle Terry
But
incident
that
like
looks
a
like more
dinner
than one row.
anecdote.
Yeah, Terry ate one hole when we were kids and went completely nuts.
He bit the dickens out of your mother.
Went completely nuts.
He bit the tick. What?
When we were kids and went completely nuts.
He bit the dickens out of your
Did we not just catch that during the film? Did we just let that slide? Like,
mother.
Went completely nuts. The exact phenomena that is right now terrifying the capital of this country happened on this farm to the woman currently
do
standing
you
next to
think
the
this
father.
is a reference to something in real life? Like, what's something right now that we're doing? Loki AI, but what's something right now that we're doing that we know is not good for us, but we use it for an intention to keep bad things away? Yeah, I feel like AI. I feel like I don't know anything else but
Who is
off the top
still
of my head,
growing the
but
plant
still.
that caused it. Judy realizes exactly what she's being told.
Because
So
it's
freeze frame, Stu
beneficial, because
Hopps
it's
on
both beneficial and dangerous, you
camera
know?
using the exact word the entire Zootopia panic is built around, approvingly about his own wife caused by his own crop, which he
Damn.
farms next to his own 275 children, and which
Okay,
he
he
warns
does.
those children away from in Latin. He is
Okay,
the original documented night howler incident, and he's
wow.
telling you. The audience laughs and the admission slides by. Stu isn't the only one who tells on the farm. Judy does it first, and she does it to a cop. Early in the movie, Judy arrests Duke Weaselton. Duke has stolen a bag of bulbs from a downtown florist. Bogo thinks they're onions. Judy, trying to justify having chased a weasel through Little Rodentia, says this.
Hate to disagree with you, sir, but those aren't onions. Those are a crocus varietal called Midnicampum holosithius. They're a Class C botanical, sir. Well, I grew up in a family where plant husbandry was kind of a thing.
Shut your tiny mouth now!
Okay, stop. That's a confession on 2 counts.
That is. Wait, she literally just said that they grow it, and then this guy's talking about some shut up. She just
First of all,
confessed.
Judy can identify these bulbs on sight by their full Latin name inside a police station. She's not a botanist, she's a rookie cop on day 1 of her first real case. The reason
No,
she can
for
do this, she
real.
tells us out loud, is her family. Secondly, she calls
It
them
is.
Class C botanical. The film never defines what Class C is. It doesn't have to. The term existing means the plant is regulated. You don't slap a classification on a houseplant. Judy is telling her boss inside Precinct 1 that her family's plant husbandry was deep enough that she learned the taxonomy of a regulated botanical growing up. But Bogo cuts her off before she can finish the thought. The film knows what it's doing. It gives Judy 1 sentence to implicate her family, and then a Cape
Yeah.
Buffalo slams the door on her. And remember,
No,
this scene
literally,
happens
they just gave her the whole scene. They just technically one sentence. That whole sentence literally told them, "Hey, my family is growing it. Like, what else more do you need? You want me to show you pictures? Like,
before the savage
I'm
attacks even
dead."
start. Judy walks into the
That's
crisis
funny though.
already carrying inherited expertise on the exact plant at the center of it. She tells her boss this on day 1, on record, and nobody in the room picks it up. Now
No,
let's go
that's
back
what
to
I'm
Gideon's
saying.
line.
My family, I would just call them night howlers.
2 families in a single rural country grow up around the same plant. The Greys keep the dangerous folk name alive. Night howlers. Generations of family vocabulary. Gideon says it casually. It's the name he's used his whole life. The Hopps, the one who actually grow the plant, have scrubbed it down to the Latin. The linguistic asymmetry is the tell. When a family that grows a dangerous plant switches from the folk name to the Latin name, that's a family that's realized a generation ago that some words bring down heat. The Greys are still saying saying that this is the plant that makes you go crazy, but the Hopps are saying this is the plant nobody needs to think about. Gideon isn't a whistleblower on purpose, he's a whistleblower because the Hopps forgot the other family never bothered to sanitize their vocabulary.
Okay, so first of all, what's in the pie then? What's in the pie? Isn't that the plant that's literally like being grown that kills them? I'm a little lost. It might be blueberry pie. I don't know. Like I don't
He walks in
remember.
with
I don't
pies,
remember if it
drops the
was
street
said.
name in front of everyone, and doesn't know he just said the quiet part out loud. But Judy knows. Watch her face in that frame. That's the moment the film turns, and it turns because a Fox used a word her family had spent a generation deleting. And the second he says it, Judy solves the case in like 30 seconds. Here's the question the film never asks. Where does the florist get the bulbs? The chain you see on screen is short and dead ends fast. Duke robs a downtown shop. Duke sells the bulbs to Doug. Doug grows the rest in a subway car with grow lights. So the Hopps aren't drug dealers, the film says that out loud, but the wholesale chain upstream of that florist is a blank. The film names the store, it never names the supplier. I genuinely don't know who supplies that florist. The film never tells us. What I can tell you is that this flower is Class C. This flower sends rabbits into a completely nut state from eating one whole, and the bulbs are sitting on the retail floor of a downtown shop in the capital of a mammal civilization where Bogo writes them up as moldy onions. Something grows the bulbs that fill that shop, and that something has acreage, farmers who know how to handle the flower, and a regional agricultural culture that treats the plant as part of the landscape. The film shows us exactly one such region. It's called Bunnyboro, and the film shows us exactly one farm in Bunnyboro, and that farm belongs to Judy's parents. The Hopps aren't Bellwether's kingpins. They're the farming culture that makes Bellwether's plan materially possible. They're the reason the dealer could shop retail. They're the reason the bulb.
The craziest thing is how smart the sheep is, but in real life, sheep are probably one of the dumbest animals in the world. I'm not even kidding. Like I'm actually like dead ass. Like they are followers.
Are cheap, available.
Farm dogs technically control sheep if you have them on your farm.
Open shelf and stocked like produce.
Can once they start, once they get used to being an outside dog.
They're the reason Doug could start a Subway lab with a weasel thief and an envelope of cash. The only farm the film ever shows growing night howlers in rows as a crop around 275 children is the Hopps farm. The film walks right up to that question, draws a box around it, and then walks away.
Yeah,
now that's not proof. I'm not
where it's from. Like, how are we gonna know?
Going to pretend that it is, but the Hopps don't have to be Bellwether's suppliers for this to be damn.
Sorry for talking over the video. I know it gets a little annoying when I do because now I'm talking and this person's talking and you can barely hear me. But sometimes I just say a few words. That's why I don't want to pause it. But for real, like how is the mystery? Our goal is to figure out where it came from, who originated, like with this plant, like where did it come from? But whole time they don't even tell you.
They just have to be the reason it was easy. And on that, the film is very loud. Because once you accept that, you have to look at the one piece of evidence the family thought they buried. Uncle Terry. The script raced past him the first time. That was a mistake. Picture what actually happened. A child on a working farm eats one of the purple flowers his uncle grows in rows behind the house. Within minutes, he's not a child anymore. He goes, in Bonnie's words, completely nuts. He attacks the nearest mammal he can reach, and that mammal is his sister. He bites down hard enough on a small rabbit's arm to take a piece out of it. A sizable divot, Stu calls it. That's a wound that needed stitches. That's a wound that's scarred. That's a wound Bonnie still wears under her sleeve. Decades later, when her daughter, the cop, comes home for the weekend. Now think about what didn't happen. No ambulance came down the road. No rural county sheriff opened a file. No agricultural inspector showed up to ask what the kid had eaten. Nothing. The Hopps washed Bonnie's arm, wrapped it, made a decision around the kitchen table about what to call the flower from now on, and went back to work the next morning. When Judy briefs Bogo on the Savage attack, Bogo says this.
Savage,
This isn't the Stone Age, Hopps. Animals don't go savage.
Nobody in the Zootopia Police Department has heard of Uncle Terry. Nobody in the city has heard of Uncle Terry. There's no paper trail or medical record. No rural hospital filing that got pulled when the first savage otter showed up.
That's how you. Okay, that means this society is not a true society. It is in a sense that, like, yes, you have people, different animals, living amongst each other and everything like that. But how do you not how do you lose somebody and not deep dive into it to figure out what in the world actually happened? Like you just don't, like, you just, he went maniac, he went crazy, and then next thing you know, oh, what should we call this plant? How where did this plant come from? How did this plant get here? How is it grown? What happens? What are the effects? Like, what are the long-term things? Like, how about that? Not no. Okay,
Original documented case of
I
a Class C
understand it is for
botanical turning
kids, but I watched it and I'm not a kid anymore, but I'm still kid friendly.
a mammal savage in the jurisdiction of
Kid friendly.
ZPD happened on the Hopps farm, and nobody outside the family knows about it. Stu knows, Bonnie knows, she's the victim. Judy
Right.
on screen is clearly learning this for the first time, or learning it in a form she can finally process. Mr. Otterton's wife is in the ZPD handing a picture of her husband over to Judy Hopps, desperate to find him again. And the first, oldest, most directly comparable incident in the case file is in the memory of the man handing his daughter a carrot and smiling. The Hopps didn't hide the Uncle Terry incident from Doug or from Bellwether. There's no evidence that they were aware of any conspiracy. They hid it from their daughter, the cop. They hid it from the agency she worked for. They hid it from the city their produce feeds into. And they did so because that's what families like this do when the thing they grow next to their 275 children has a documented history of making people bite. A family made a decision a generation ago that the flower could stay in the ground if nobody said the scary name out loud anymore. And then a crisis happened. Their daughter walked straight into it, and they didn't say the name until a fox showed up with pies. Okay, Zootopia ends. Bellwether goes to prison. Judy and Nick become partners. The cure works. The Hopps keep farming. 9 years pass. Then Zootopia 2 comes out, and the family shows up exactly once. A muzzle time video call to Judy's apartment.
Well, you two are very different. Small town hero raised on a farm.
Raised on a farm. Did you catch it? Bonnie uses the word farm. She doesn't say what the farm grows, just farm. Flat, no modifier. Then the grandmother, Gram, a new character in the sequel who belongs to the generation that lived through the Uncle Terry incident, grabs the phone.
I pray every day that you'll come back home and make babies.
She's the matriarch, the generation that was there, pushing reproductive pressure on her cop granddaughter.
I do. I love grandmas. Like,
while saying nothing about the family business the cop granddaughter once accidentally cracked. Then Stu takes the phone back. Slow down here because this is the moment the sequel quietly tells you everything.
Mom. Just remember the first rule of partnerships. You can be right, or you can be happy.
That's true.
There's nothing wrong with dying a little inside so you can meet in the middle.
Honey.
Now hold up, that didn't sound like
oh my goodness.
a man in his 60s on a video call with his daughter telling her out loud the philosophy he organized his entire adult life around. Stu Hopps grew a flower that put a divot in his wife's arm. He chose for decades to keep that quiet. He scrubbed the folk name out of his family's vocabulary and taught his toddlers the Latin instead. That's a man who's died a little inside, on purpose, for 40 years so the farm could meet the world in the middle. And now he's on the phone, looking at his daughter, recommending it. Being right would have meant calling the hospital about Terry. Being right would have meant flagging the crop. Being right would have meant saying night howler at the kitchen table when his daughter, the cop, was visibly putting the case together. But Stu picked happy. The farm survived. The children grew up. Bonnie's arm healed and the Latin name stuck. He isn't lying to Judy on that call, he's confessing. He's just doing it in the only language he has left after a lifetime of practice. The language of a man who decided a long time ago that some questions don't get asked at his table. And the film doesn't have Judy follow up. Of course it doesn't. She just smiles and hangs up. But there's one more piece, and it's an absence. Gideon Grey isn't in Zootopia 2. Not glimpsed or cameoed, not even mentioned. His van isn't in a Bunny Burrow establishing shot. His and Stu's partnership, the emotional high note the first movie closed on, is not shown operating. The one character with the street name in his mouth is gone. The sequel keeps the cop, keeps the parents and the mayor, and keeps the weasel as a fourth wall DVD joke, and drops the fox who said the quiet part out loud.
Wow.
That's the franchise making a choice. The original Zootopia is a brilliant piece of screenwriting, rigorous about its own allegory. The whole film is about how prejudice gets encoded in language and institutions and the quiet moves people make to keep their comfort. And every character gets held accountable. Bellwether goes to prison, Doug gets busted, Lionheart faces the press, the ZPD reckons with itself, and the city heals. Every character except Stu and Bonnie Hopps. Stu, who farms the plant that makes the serum work, never gets asked a question, never a follow-up, never gets a moment where his daughter turns and goes, "Wait, Dad, did you know what these flowers were the whole time?" 9 years later, Zootopia 2 arrives and gives Stu a whole scene, a whole new philosophy, be right or be happy, and Judy never asks. And honestly, I don't...
In 2016. I really thought it was like, I thought it was like 2018 maybe. And then Secret Life of Pets, I thought it was around 2018. But that's the end of the video, y'all. I hope you guys all enjoyed that reaction. I kind of wanted to just choose a shorter clip video. I hope you guys are all doing great. Make sure you guys always stay positive, stay blessed. And I'll catch you guys on the 100 subscriber goal. I'm almost there. Help me, y'all. And I'll catch you guys on that next one.